Shotgun, people! Well, here's a cop beating his dog. What do you expect? I mean, look, the department would justify if the cop was beating his wife, if he was beating a pesky citizen. I mean, it's just amazing how they justify. And look, being a canine handler, there. I'll get to that. Let's look at this video.
Canine officer pinned to the ground and then punched by its partner. They were in the middle of a training exercise when things took a dark turn. We have a lot. Elizabeth Kling.
Are demanding officer tonight. Laura?
Well, it turns out dog may not be man's best friend. That Vacaville police officer caught on camera beating his canine into submission, and it all happened right here at the canine training facility in Vacaville. I will warn you, this video might be disturbing.
Oh my God. Well, they warned you. I guess I'll warn you. And then YouTube can put a warning on their thing, and then everybody can be warned 14 times because everybody's just a freaking idiot and they just end up watching shit that they have no idea how they got there.
I can still remember hearing the dog crying.
Tucked between two trailers, Roberto Palomino saw something he says he'll never forget.
There was an officer beating a dog really bad. He was close fist punching in the face to a dog.
Too afraid to confront the police officer, he pulled out his phone to record.
He punched the dog several times before I was able to get it on camera. So right after he kind of saw me, he stopped hitting the dog.
Vacaville police confirm it was one of their officers, but say the video was out of context.
The officer was conducting training.
Okay, so here comes the cop explaining on how you dumb citizens just need to believe that, look, we have strict backgrounds in government. We're all great. We're all good. We can't be sued. We got limited immunity. Give us your guns and we'll protect you. Just follow the narrative.
With the canine.
To sniff out narcotics for the department.
The dog performed very well in that exercise, that training scenario, and located the narcotics.
The canine was rewarded with a toy, but when the officer tried to take it back, the dog got upset.
The canine lunged in an attempt to bite the handler. And that's when swift action needs to take place to let the dog know that the handler is in charge. And that is a position of dominance that you see on the video.
Oh, well, that explains it. Hell, I didn't know that. So from now on, when I see people like, you know, walking their dog and they just jump down on their dog and start punching it in the face, now I'll know that's a position of dominance and it's okay. Really?
Where the officer straddles the dog.
Is punching the dog in the face a part of that process?
There are certain scenarios where strikes to the dog can be appropriate.
Officer safety. The officer was in fear. He's a hero. But blue line. He had to protect himself. He thought the dog had a gun or a knife, or he was hiding in his mouth.
We absolutely want to know the mindset and what that officer was experiencing in that moment, and then we'll go from there.
The canine and his handler are not out on patrol yet. They're still in a training period. We did ask Vacaville Police Department if there would be any repercussions for the officer. They say it's too early to make those.
That means no. Okay, look. Now let's go back to this.
Determination.
Where the officer straddles the dog.
Is punching the dog in the face a part of that process?
There are certain scenarios where strikes to the dog can be appropriate. We absolutely want to know the mindset and what that officer was experiencing.
Oh, officer mindset, officer safety.
In that moment, action needs to take place to let the dog know that the handler is in charge.
Okay. So, look, if a dog is attacking you or tries to bite me, I'm going to punch him and do whatever I do in immediate response to his aggressive action and stop it. But you don't continue to punish and beat any animal because it loses the effect that you want. It just becomes abusive, pain, beating versus a correction. Kind of like, you know, if your kid walks on a street and you reach over and the only thing you can grab is his hair and you grab him by the hair and you pull him out of the road so he doesn't get hit by a car. Okay. Pulling a kid's hair probably wouldn't be the greatest move, but If it saved a kid's life, it's okay. But after you get the kid out of the street, if you grab the kid's hair and bounce it across the concrete and start punching the kid in the face to show dominance, it's just freaking stupid. It's abuse. This guy is ego, macho, lost his temper, and is beating up a dog that's not fighting back. This dog is not, look, I've been bitten at least freaking, I don't know how many, 20 times, probably at a low end, probably closer to 50. My medical records are thick as a freaking encyclopedia. And I'm telling you, dogs bite and you defend yourself when they're biting. But you don't just beat the shit out of them afterwards and make it into, I'm going to beat you because I'm still mad. This dog is not being aggressive. He is not trying to dominate this guy. And this guy isn't showing dominance. If he just sat on the dog and held him down, I'd be a little more okay with that. But at what point does that become excessive and unnecessary and it loses its meaning? I mean, should he kneel on him for what? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, maybe 6 hours? Again, everything has to be taken in what's reasonable. And punching this dog in the face when he's not trying to bite him is bullshit. In my opinion. I mean, hell, I only worked and trained dogs for freaking 20, 30 years, but whatever.
And that is a position of dominance that you see on the video where the officer straddles the dog.
Is punching the dog in the face a part of that process?
There are certain scenarios where strikes to the dog can be appropriate. I would absolutely want to know the mindset and what that officer was experiencing.
It was one of their officers, but say the video was out of context.
The officer was conducting...
I'm trying to get where he punches him because there was no aggressive action. I can't...
I can still remember hearing the dog crying.
Tucked between two trailers, Roberto Palomino saw something he says he'll never forget.
There was an officer beating a dog really bad.
That dog's not attacking him or being aggressive at all. It's BS. He's just holding him down. And you notice there's a term that cops use and the courts use, has consciousness of guilt. When suspects look around, they're looking for cops, they're looking for witnesses, they're about to do something that they want to see if anybody is watching. And this officer shows his consciousness of guilt. If he was really scared of the dog, why is he looking around? Why would he be looking around, people?
He was close face punching in the face to a dog.
Too afraid to confront the police officer, he pulled out his phone to record.
He punched the dog several times before I was able to get it on camera.
So this statement is key. Not only did he punch him afterwards when the dog wasn't, he punched him several times before, held him on the ground. This guy had time to get his camera out, start filming, and then the officer looks around to see if there's any witnesses and then punches the dog again.
Camera. So right after he kind of saw me, he stopped hitting the dog.
Vacaville police confirm it was one of their...
What's he looking for? What's he looking over here? Does he think another dog's going to bite him? Does he think this dog called his family and his family's coming around? Maybe he's looking for somebody to shoot that he can say if he finds a witness, he can shoot him, say he was in fear of his life. This is bullshit in my book. But whatever. This is Vacaville. I used to live in this city. I mean, I know a lot of cops there. I've worked with them. A lot of guys got out of the Air Force, went and worked for them. Anyway, we'll end that there. I think it's bullshit, but, government's good. Give up your guns. These people have backgrounds. They're trained people. This is what training looks like. But Rick, maybe he needs more training. Yeah, that's it. More training to protect and serve and to keep you. Just give up your guns and we'll give the cops more training. Yeah, that's the answer. All right, we'll end that there.